Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Salami, and in today's video I'm going to go over my control scheme that I'm using for Dragon Age Origins, and this is for the Ultimate Edition, which supposedly is unsupported on Steam Deck, but I'm here to tell you that it works just fine and that there's a couple of steps that you could do to make the initial load up better. But apart from that, let's just jump into the video. And the first thing I'm going to say is, if you download or buy the Ultimate Edition of Dragon Age Origins, you've made the right choice. It's a great game, and with the Veilguard on the way later this year, I've been starting to replay through all of the Dragon Ages. Of course, starting with the OG, with Origins, but with the Ultimate Edition, which has all the DLCs and everything already built into the package. And I've never played the Awakened DLC, so let me know in the comments if you've played the DLC, the Awakened DLC, or not, because I'm real curious about giving it a go this time around, and if I should finish the main story first and then do Awakened. I'm assuming that's the best way. And if you find this video helpful, please give me a like or a sub. You don't have to, of course, and if you don't like it, then don't. It's easy as that. So first off, when you install the game, it's going to say unsupported, which is a lie. The Ultimate Edition is definitely supported, as you can see in the footage behind you. But my recommendation is the first time you load it up, you do it through desktop mode. And the reason for that is there is a front loader where you can go into the settings to do your graphics. And if you do it from desktop, you can actually easily save it and then quit out. Where if you do it through game mode, you can't click the OK button because it's not within the window, if that makes sense. So my recommendation is to jump over to desktop, go through, max everything out like I have. It's up to you if you don't want to max it all out, but I like maxing things out. So go ahead, max everything out, and then quit back and go back into game mode, where then you can just click on play from that launcher window. You don't need to worry about doing anything else in between there. Alright, and then once we're in game, before you actually load the game, go and download my controller scheme, which I'll have up on screen now, and then you're ready to rock and rumble, and I will go through what and how my control scheme works. There is other community guides up there, but none of them really did it for me, and I think this is a better option. So without further ado, let's go over my controls. So we are using the back buttons here, the L4, R4, R5, L5, and these are to go through your 4 companions by clicking on them. That makes life really easy when you're in combat and you need to use a particular ability that's not on your tactics list, or it just needs to be done. So those are what your back buttons are doing. In terms of your front buttons here, A is your pause menu, B loads up your quest log, X is to unlock and lock the camera. Because this game didn't support proper controller, the way that the camera works is a bit wonky, but I think I've got it in a pretty good spot here. So you push X or 1 or 2 times usually, and it will allow you to activate the camera. And then from there, what happens is if you need the mouse back, you can just pull the left trigger and get your mouse control back that way. So that's what X does. Y is to select your entire party in case you need to highlight them all for a particular reason. I don't know how often that will come up. You may not need to use the Y button. You can always rebind that for something else if you so desire. And then we've got the right trackpad as a mouse with click for clicking. You're going to be using this semi-regularly for clicking through menus and, you know, clicking on your quest log and stuff like that. Okay, so you will be using that and clicking on your abilities and moving them in and out of your hotbars. The left trackpad has got 1 through to 0, which is for your 10 quick abilities that you can have on your bar. So you can quickly select them, and also lets you use them, as you can see here, for dialogue. So it's your dialogue wheel and your quick access for your abilities. And clicking in the middle allows you to change between your 2 weapon slots. So if you're playing warrior and you've got a bow plus your 2-hander like I've got, you can switch between them when you like. I find the weapon swapping doesn't come up that often. You could always change that middle click to something else if you prefer. Moving on from there, we'll go to the left hand D-pad. So up and down zoom in your camera. So up zooms in and down zooms out, and this is for if you want to go into tactics mode, which I use it semi-regularly. I don't use it all the time, but the tactics menu is useful from time to time when you're wanting to place characters in certain spots. Left on the D-pad is a quick save. Please use it. My golly gosh, it's very important that you use the quick save feature. It makes a hell of a difference. And then right on the D-pad, now this one's an interesting one. This stops all your party from moving. So it lets you kind of place them where you want, and they won't move at all. Now that can be a hindrance and helpful. Sometimes it's good if you're trying to pull mobs and you don't want to pull the whole party into a combat. So I might just select one character, then push that, which will stop everyone else from moving, go up, pull the mob, and then pull it back to me, and then re-enable their movement. So that's what I use it for, but you can use it whatever you want. The options menu on the left hand, the double square button, I don't know what the official name of that is, like the select button, is your map screen, and the menu on the other side is your menu, you know, your options menu on the 3-barred line button. Okay, so yeah, we're getting there. Bumper wise, so our right bumper is basically a highlighter for everything that's interactable in front of you. So everyone's names and characters will pop up above them. And that's good for when you're just running around, so you don't miss anything. You can just hold the bumper and see what's available for you to click on with your buttons. And the left bumper is for your inventory. As you can see here, I just jump into it when I need to quickly use a health potion on characters that I don't have it in the quick bar. And then your triggers is left and right click respectively on the triggers. Now, as you saw there with the using the health potion there on my character, all I did was I pushed left bumper, like I paused the combat with A, pushed the left bumper to bring up the menu, the inventory screen, and then I pulled the left trigger along with using the right trackpad to select the health potion. It sounds really unintuitive talking about it, but when you start using it, it will make a lot more sense and you'll understand how that works. If this video is too abstract for you as I'm just talking about it, I can always go back and make a second video with me, like, you know, like old school videos that I used to make with the camera behind me and I'm playing with the buttons, if you would prefer that. So let me know in the comments below if you download this and it's not quite clicking for you, and I can go back and try to explain it in a much better way. But that's basically the controls, and you can just watch this combat behind me. This is quite a big combat, so it will help you realize how quickly you can do a combat in this game without actually having a keyboard and mouse. And the game runs perfectly well. So you're using those back buttons on the Steam Deck to jump between characters all the time. It's really great. And then, yeah, you're using left and right triggers to click on the enemies here. And you know, you are going to be pausing. That's why I've got pause on A, because you are going to be pausing semi-regularly here to go between it. And you're going to be using the right trackpad a lot as well. But if you're just exploring the world, you can just push X to activate camera mode. And you lose your cursor, but you can at least just run around like a normal third-person game. But then when you go to get into combat, you just pull the trigger, or if you want to select an item that's in the world, you just pull the left trigger to bring back the mouse for what you're trying to do there. So that is the controls, and then I might just have a few tips for you if you're jumping into Dragon Age Origins for the first time. Please make sure you do your tactics for all of your party members. It can be a little bit daunting at first. I definitely found it a little bit daunting it's been such a long time since I'd had to set tactics in this game. I kind of had to spend a little bit of time where I was dying a lot in combats and failing them when I shouldn't have been, because I was having to micromanage just that a little bit too much between all the party members. But once you get the tactics right, you know, things go a lot smoother. I would always recommend you have, you know, as your first tactic, all of your characters that you have activate their buffs at the start of combat. Most of the time they'll still be on between combats, but sometimes they get disabled. So make sure, like, you know, like I have it so Morrigan, South, always, and then I put it on her frost weapons. So whenever a combat starts, she always activates frost weapons if it's not on. And then for Shao, he'll always taunt or put on his defense stance. And Liliana will always have her dance. She's a bard, but you know what I mean, her Song of Valor going. And I've set it so if I'm not controlling my character, he'll go into Berserker mode at the start of combat, because I'm playing a two-handed Berserker, because that's freaking cool. And then you go down the list of abilities. I found when you try to set AoE abilities, it doesn't. There's something wrong there, because I had it so Morrigan and Shao would use AoEs on. One of the options is you can go enemy, group, 2 or more, and then you can set the ability, which I had Mind Blast on Morrigan and something else on either Shale or something like that. But they seem to get locked in like they get lost trying to do that. So it's easier just to set it to either a single target, or just don't have the AoE set, because they sometimes don't work. But yeah, if you set it to a single enemy or attacking this person, they should activate it properly. But if you try to use a specific command that is for 2 or more enemies, it just doesn't seem to go off. In my, you know, quick look through that. The next thing is pulling enemies. If you've never played Origins before, you know, pulling enemies is a sound tactic. I've done it. I've been doing it. Because this combat here is going horribly wrong for me. It took me 2 goes to get this. I forgot how hard this was. This is a big onslaught of zombies, and they really give me a run for my money here. So I think this first attempt is a fail, and then I do get it on the second go. I don't know if I recorded the second go, but where this pulling single enemies isn't possible here. But in a lot of cases, if you're doing a dungeon or in the overworld, like I say, you push right on the D-pad, deselect your party, take your main character or whoever you want up, pull something with a bow shot, and then run back to your party. And then you're not pulling the entire, because then what would normally happen is Shale or your tank will run in, and then they'll do a threaten, and then pull even more stuff where you could have easily have not had so many enemies. And also it stops the archers and mages from just shooting you from afar. Now, you can do things like put your rogue or whoever to go attack the ranged characters, which I had Liliana doing, but she was getting knocked out. Like, she'd be all fighting the mages by herself and then get knocked out. So I stopped that and just put her to attack whoever I'm attacking or whoever the tank's attacking, kind of style. So yeah, that can sometimes be a little bit awkward. And one of the other things you could also do is, if you're in a building, you can do the same tactic, and then what happens is the ranged people will run right up to you because they can't get an angle on you from around the corner, which makes them in melee, which gives them disadvantage. And so then you can go to town on these cloth wearers or light armor wearers and do a ton more damage to them without them peppering shots at you while you're fighting the melee characters in what would normally be a standard fight. So that's just a small tip, is to, yeah, draw enemies out by using just taking one character and pulling them back to a corner, or you know, around behind something. But you know, you'll figure that out as you go along. And with the DLC, you get all these extra characters. Originally, because you get quite a lot of tanks at the start of the game, you have Alistair off the bat. You can then get the Quinari fellow pretty early after that, Sten. And then because of the Ultimate Edition, you're also getting Shale, which is the construct here that I've got in my party, which I think is actually the strongest tank, because of the way you can set him. If you find the right crystals for him, you can make it so all damage he takes is converted to nature, and then another crystal where he then takes 20% less damage. So he's always at minus 20% damage, which is really cool. I did want to try and play through with Sten, but I'll see how I go. I'll give Shale a go and see how that goes. And then after that, another thing to talk about would be saving. Make sure you save all the time. This game can be sometimes a little bit redundant on the auto saves here, so quick saving is really important. And so in this fight here, it doesn't let me quick save, but if I go into the options after this fight here, I can do a manual save. So if you can't quick save, do a manual save, because my golly, it helps out a ton. One other thing that's really rough at the start here is you're highly reliant on using potions. So you are going to be having to craft potions either from you, if you've taken that as an option, or from Morrigan if she has herbalism. So keep that in mind. You're going to need to craft potions or buy potions, but you don't really want to be wasting your gold early on in the game, because you want to start saving up for that good stuff. So that's one more thing. And you get Morrigan semi-early, like you get her after the basically after you finish the prologue. Now she when she gets her first level, my recommendation, highly recommend, is giving her heal. And then you've got at least one magic heal. She's more of a damage dealing character, but you do want like a free heal from her magic, right, during a combat, because otherwise, you know, you're having to use more potions than you might not need to have. Okay, so a quick recommendation is to give Morrigan at least the basic heal spell, just so she can heal during a fight. Otherwise, yeah, you're gonna be really hurting in terms of potions. And make sure you set it as a tactic, like if someone's under 20%, you'll use a heal spell on them. That's how I've got mine set up. You could have it higher, so you keep your characters topped up for the entire fight. You know, there's two ways of looking at that, but you know, you do what works for you, but make sure you use the tactics. Look at this fight going horribly long here. So this is where, on my second attempt, I start pulling them back, and because otherwise things like that happen, you just get absolutely wrecked. Okay, so keep that in mind going forward. And thank you for watching. This video has ended up being way longer than I thought it was gonna be, but thank you once again. And if you find this video helpful, please let me know in the comments below if this control scheme is doing anything for your love life. Alright guys, I'm going to catch you in the next video, which may be more Descendant stuff. We'll see. Otherwise, have a great day. I can catch you in the next one.